Okay, so are you recording?
3, 2, 1, recording.
Okay, all right. Now put your thing on the clacker there. Let me make sure my. Okay, cool. Now here, I'll trade you.
So turn it around?
Yeah, turn around. And then I figure I'll record us getting situated. You want to sit there? Okay, good. Oh shoot, I forgot my shades. I gotta wear my shades. People ask me, why aren't you wearing your shades?
That's your signature.
Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you. Now it's Friday.
That's a shot and a half.
That's a shot.
Just smell it.
Smells good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody, this is Devin. Am I recording? Oh, thank God. This is Devin. You've seen him in a couple of the yeah. I think I've talked about you in the video, and I think I've posted a link to some of your videos in your channel. But I think this is the first time you and I are actually in front of the camera talking to the audience.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, yeah, Devin and I have known each other for a really long time, and 2 weekends ago, we went on a hike. What was the name of those falls?
Pilones Falls.
Pilones Falls. So we went to Pilones Falls, and to get some great footage, because he wants to do, you know, I've already talked about it, the long-form content that he wants to do on his YouTube channel, which we're kind of in the process of doing. So we had a great hike out there, and the footage turned out great because I'm wearing like a 40-pound vest, and because of my gravity, I've got more weight, my center of gravity is different. I kind of like put my hands out a lot more than I normally would, and it works really well with the GoPro situated right here. It really makes it look like a first-person shooter.
It does.
Wouldn't you say? Yeah. You want one of these? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Good with that. Their cigar cutter.
We're not that fancy here yet.
No, not yet. We gotta step up our game. We're celebrating, in case you couldn't tell. Okay. There we go. First time for everything. Okay. All right. Well, we take a look back here. Here. Oh. Does it look? Can you see back there? Is that a good angle?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So here, let's. Is that still recording? I think my finger hit a button.
Oh, no, it stopped.
Okay, so just start recording again.
Yep.
Are you recording again?
Yes, sir.
So this will be the...
Take two?
On one of the cameras. This is just a way for me to sync it after that video ends because my finger hit the button, right?
Yep.
So, we're basically gonna go get some footage, but I'm turned for Devin's channel. And I'm turning this as an opportunity into, you know, hike with the 40-pound vest on, and the GoPro, and you know, it's raining, and if I happen to fall in the mud, and that causes some wear and tear to happen on this backpack, then so be it, because otherwise I'm going to end up rubbing dirt and stuff into it myself, because like I said, it needs to have a worn look. It can't look like it's fresh. So I'm going to be carrying this thing around a lot and getting that wear and tear look to it, and also seeing what it's like to carry a bunch of extra equipment around while hiking through various terrain. which is where we're going to go get all the good shots for the live action. So I'm basically training for that. Thank you. I suppose there's going to be some sort of comment about the health journey video opening up with cigars and rum.
Well, cigars increase your testosterone.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
And they're not cigarettes. Cigarettes are worse.
Right. And you don't inhale.
You don't know.
You don't inhale. You enjoy. And these are actually Puerto Rican cigars. So when in Rome, right, we're actually in Puerto Rico. This is Devin, the guy that I've been talking about, and we've already linked his YouTube channel. And you can see behind us that he is, in fact, a hobbit. He has a love for things that grow, most certainly. And can't wait to continue to help him to produce a bunch of content, because all this stuff is really impressive to me. He's even got like a watering system, automatic watering system set up. So we'll make a bunch of great content on that. Devin and I have been, we've been working together since 2018.
2018, yeah.
2018, right? We've been all over the country together for business. We've been, what are all the states? Everywhere in California and Washington.
Colorado. We went to Colorado. I'm pretty sure we drove. I don't know if we drove up from Texas all the way to Colorado and then down the Rockies. I think that's might have been the trip.
We did.
We stopped in Laredo.
Yeah.
We stopped in Laredo, and he sung a song about Laredo, Texas.
That's right.
And
Amarillo.
Amarillo. We stopped at Amarillo. We didn't have business there, but
I'm a huge George Strait fan. So.
Yeah. On the way from Houston to Colorado, you got to make a stop in Amarillo. And the craziest thing about that drive was there was a hurricane hitting Texas, and there were tornado warnings. But we were just right in front of those tornado warnings. We were in the eye of the storm. We were driving out of the storm,
right,
and into safety. But there was repeated situations where there was this torrential downpour, and the windshield wiper was wiping across the windshield of the truck, and the moment that it hit all the way to the bottom of its range of motion, the whole windshield was covered in rain, and you couldn't see anything.
I forgot about that.
And then it would wipe, and we were able to see it. So we were having intermittent visibility on the road.
Yeah.
But the thing is about Texas roads, they're so straight that you don't really need the best visibility to get to where you're going. So
I remember seeing it coming on the horizon, because you can see nice and far in Texas because everything's flat. And I remember going through that storm, and it was your shift to drive, and you had to get us through it. Oh man, yeah, that was it was hard, but we look back on it now, and it was a good time.
it was fun.
Yeah. Speaking of looking back on things, so the footage that you've seen so far, because I showed you the editing that I did so far, where we synced everything together. That was 2 weekends ago. We went on a hike to go get some footage for the long form footage that Devin wants to do. We got a bunch of great shots of Waterfall and all that stuff. So in post-production, I'll be sure to link these videos as they come along. I'll link it in the YouTube channel. So you folks, do go check it out, because the hiking footage that you're seeing right now is us actually, getting there. How far of a hike was that?
I would say it's about 1.5 miles, but it's not easy hiking because you have to walk over rocks.
It was muddy. It was raining.
It was raining.
I was wearing a 40-pound vest.
He was wearing a 40-pound vest. And in Puerto Rico, it's not, people aren't super into hiking, so the maintenance of the trails isn't a top priority, so it's kind of like a little bit of a wild
a little off the
trail.
beaten path.
It's a little bit off the beaten path. And yeah, we went there at the perfect time because it had just been raining, but that also made it more challenging to get through.
You made a comment, and I realized how much I appreciated it, because we get up there and we hike all the way out there, and then we set up the camera to take the shot,
And then it's like, okay, we got to be quiet, you know, and you just got to sit there and let the camera record and get all that white noise and just sit still, and then you're just there, right? You're present. It was it's a good experience. I can't wait to go all over Puerto Rico and get all the crazy stuff.
That's gonna be the end of this year and the beginning of next year. We're going to go on quite a few adventures. Justin's been working a lot, but he has a lot of PTO.
Yes,
and he's at liberty to take a 3-day weekend here and there. And then when he does so, we're going to plan out that weekend so then we can go out one of the days and then we have a full day of rest, because when you're out in the sun, you're driving, and it's a full day adventure, you need a day just to recover, because just the way that the sun hits here.
It's that Puerto Rican heat. That's what it is.
You need rest.
Yeah.
You need an ice bath. You maybe need an ice bath after.
Oh, now there's an idea. So I wanted to talk about I've been talking about making my health journey video for God knows how long, half a year, maybe a year now, because I've been trying to get things rolling with the YouTube channel. And I'm finally there. I think we're starting to release consistently. There was that 1 month lull, but I was so busy with work, it just wasn't possible. But if I get this video out today or tomorrow, it should be within the 2 weeks. So we're on goal there. And to talk about the health journey video, I wanted to do it so, you know, I could tell people the journey that I went through. And if you're going through anything similar, you know, it might help you. It might be something to ask your doctor, like, hey, could it be this? Hey, could it be that? So we met back in what, 2018, excuse me. So that was 5 years ago. And I think, oh yeah, that was even before the cancer diagnosis.
He was a lot skinnier.
Yeah.
His clothes were so baggy, they didn't fit him right. Now he fills out his clothes a lot better. And there's a lot of reasons because of that.
Yes.
For that.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot how skinny I looked. Yeah. So, you know, I stopped working for, I've told you about Swifty and them. Mm-hmm. So I stopped working for Swifty because, you know, half of the symptoms that I was experiencing, anxiety, depression, brain fog, fatigue, all that stuff, you know, I couldn't actually focus on, or it was extremely hard and just wore me out so much to focus on editing a video. And that was actually really sad because I fucking love editing videos, right? So it was really weird to you know, the reason I stopped doing it because I wanted to focus on my health, and I was in a relationship at the time, so I wanted to focus on that too. And when I got up to Washington, and you know, just couldn't get past the symptoms, the brain fog. I was self-medicating, which wasn't helping, especially like I would hit the vape pen, the sativa, and I'd get high and then have a little energy for like 2 or 3 hours and be able to like focus, but then it would wear off, and got to go back to hitting the vape pen again, or calling it a day, and my tolerance was through the roof because of all that. And I'm actually, the reason I mentioned the self-medication is that if I hadn't been in Washington, because it was around 2015 when they legalized everything, mm-hmm. If I hadn't been, I might have suffered so much that I would have gotten help sooner.
Yep.
Right? So, if you got some problems, and you're take it from me, you're self-medicating for those problems, maybe go talk to a doctor about it. But do it with a grain of salt, because so I go to the doctor with all these symptoms. It's 2015, about 2015, 2016. I go to the doctor with all these symptoms, like, oh, you're depressed. Here, take this SSRI. And so I was like, all right, cool, let's see. So I start taking the SSRI, take it for like 3 months, don't really notice any difference whatsoever. So the doc's like, all right, well, let's put you on a different one. So we switch over to a different SSRI. 2-3 months go by, it's not working. The doc's like, well, let's up your dosage. And I'm like, okay. So we up the dosage, and then I start kind of feeling funny. Everything's kind of fuzzy, and not feeling really sad, but not really feeling happy either. And then, you know, there's some sexual side effects with the increased dosage. And, you know, I think it was just starting to make things worse. So I told the doctor, hey, I think this is making things worse, or it's certainly not helping. And the doc was like, oh, okay, well, we'll put you on a different medication, but, you know, you have to take this medication at the lower dose for like a couple of weeks. And that really upset me, because it's like, I want to stop taking this medication, yet I have to continue to keep taking it. So be wary of that. You know, be sure to ask about that next if you're ever talking to a doctor on this subject. Because that was just, yeah, I felt really, really bad the whole time that I was like taking that medication, knowing that I didn't want to take it anymore, and knowing that it caused side effects, and still happy to take it, because things would have been worse if I stopped. So got through that, and then we tried one more SSRI, and you know, same thing. And the doc's like, well, let's increase your dose. No. It's been 9 months. I'm not buying what you're selling no more. You know, thank you, not interested, right? So I was like, well, I've got all this anxiety and depression. What's the option to go to, you know, that doesn't involve medication, which is talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, all that kind of stuff. So I started taking that, and I got things got manageable. And when I say manageable, I was still anxious. I was still depressed. I was still having problems focusing at times. And this whole time, I'm starting to develop these call them energy saving habits. And it's basically, you know, how to you know, efficiently do things, because like I needed to sleep like 12 hours a day. I was just completely wiped out all the time. And the cognitive behavioral therapy helped with that, and it helped manage everything. But I was still fucking miserable, right? I think this is around the time I started working. Yeah, I was taking the cognitive behavioral therapy when we were working together, and things kind of got a little bit better. And then I moved back down to Florida, and I was sleeping on my buddy Chris's couch, you know, trying to figure out which apartment I was going to get and stuff. And he told me that I needed to go get a sleep study, because I snored like a motherfucker. And I went and got my sleep study done. They give you this device to wear, and it monitors your breathing and stuff. And the results came back and said I was most certainly suffering from severe sleep apnea. So for those of you that don't know, sleep apnea, like when I lay down, part of my airways kind of collapse. So I have to consciously breathe harder than I normally would if I was at rest. So if my head's back and you hear that's what that should be. But because like my sinuses and everything are so big, and there's a lot of mass and a couple other factors, it was causing my airway to collapse. So what's happening is when I go to sleep, I'd finally get to like where I was actually at rest, where my body was just like normal sleep. But then I couldn't breathe because I couldn't put enough air to get past that part, right? So my body would wake me up slightly, to go ahead and do that inhale, and then let it back out. Now, all this to say is there's 4 different layers of sleep, or maybe even 5. I haven't looked at it in a while. But the problem is, once you get to like the level 3 of sleep, that's where like you're supposed to be fully at rest. But I was never getting there because my body was waking me up because I was getting starved of oxygen.
Yep.
So I got a CPAP machine. And guess what happened to the anxiety and the depression and being tired all the time and the brain fog?
It went away.
It fucking went away. Oh. So, and then that's not to say, then there was the other thing I want to talk about was the TRT, the testosterone replacement therapy. So I started doing that after getting testicular cancer and having one testicle removed. So, you know, my left nut was trying to kill me, but now I'm all right. All right, so one day, actually, let me back up. I got to tell you about the other symptoms. So remember, you commented on how skinny I was, right?
Yep.
So, like, back in 2016, 2017, I was like, oh man, I'm going to start working out again. I'm going to get back into shape and all this kind of stuff. And I forced myself to go to the gym for 3 times a week for like 3 weeks. But at the end of those 3 months. But at the end of those 3 months, I couldn't think straight. I would forget what I was talking about halfway through a sentence. And didn't I?
Yep.
Didn't I? And part of this was due to the sleep apnea and stuff, but the other part of it was due to my hormones. So I went and got my testosterone levels checked after the cancer surgery, after I had a testicle removed, and my T serum levels were that of an 80-year-old man, basically. So I find out that, the reason that I felt like crap and had a bunch of brain fog half the time is because I was forcing myself to work out, right? But I had undiagnosed sleep disorder, and I had hypogonadism, which is what happens when you don't have enough of your primary sex hormone, in my case, testosterone. So I didn't have any testosterone that would actually build muscle, and then I wasn't actually able to hit restful sleep that would, let me get to the rejuvenated part of sleep that would allow me to actually build muscle. Finally got the sleep apnea taken care of, and we got my testosterone therapy dialed in, and that took some time because you don't want to make too many moves with testosterone right away. But I would say if anybody's experiencing these symptoms, definitely look for a men's clinic. Keyword, men's clinic in your area. That's code word for that's what they selling, basically. You go to a men's clinic and get your levels checked. Now, if you're feeling fine, go get your levels checked anyway the next time you go to the doctor, especially if you're around 30, because from about 35 onward, for most males, that's when the testosterone starts to dip. So it would be good to start getting your baseline testosterone level tested at least once a year when you're 30, and then that way you can see when it starts, dipping, so you know what your normal level is, and you can stay at that. And they've got all different kinds of options. They've got these pellets that'll subcutaneous, that'll go in your skin. They've got gel. I do the injections because I need so much, but that probably isn't going to be the case for most people who haven't had to, have had a testicle removed. And then it's going to take a while, because if you do go down the route, if you do start doing the testosterone replacement, especially if you start doing it like I was, like if your testosterone's completely in the gutter, then it's going to take a while to get the dosage dialed. You want some more?
Oh,
You
yeah.
good? Okay.
Oh, one more.
All right.
I certainly do feel relaxed.
Oh yeah.
Cigars and rum.
Yeah, this is a good idea. Thanks for hanging out.
And this is crazy because this rum, it's only $18 a bottle, and it's organic.
Organic rum. I'm down. The doctor said, okay, you got the endocrine system in an 80-year-old man. You need to start doing some testosterone. He called it T. So when you hear me say T, that's testosterone. We're going to start you off with 5 cc's once a week, and you get to use a needle that's the size of this fucking cigar. And I was not thrilled about that, because I have a phobia of needles. But I got through it. I was giving myself the injection, and it felt like, so here's Monday and here's Sunday, and I give myself the injection on Monday, and I feel a little something on Tuesday, and then I just kind of go back to normal. So we do that for 2 months. Tell that to the doctor. He goes, all right, well, let's split the dosage across 2 shots, and we can move to the to the medium-sized needle, which is about half the size of this cigar. So I was fine with that because it was a much smaller needle. And I, here's Monday, here's Sunday. I'd give myself a shot on Monday. I'd feel something on Tuesday. It would dip back down, give myself my shot on Thursday, feel okay kind of Friday, then, okay on Saturday, then back down again on Sunday. We call that like dipping, or like dipping below the level of where I want to be. So he said, all right, well, let's move to daily shots. I said, daily shots? He said, but you can use the insulin needle. I was like, you mean the little tiny thing that's like super small? He goes, yeah. I was like, okay, let's do that. So I started doing the daily shots, and in about 2 weeks, I started feeling great. I was like, man, I want to go to the gym. I want to go do something. Let's do so. I was starting to work better, all that stuff. And then, about 2 weeks after that, I started getting emotional. Like, I felt like somebody punched my kitten, and I didn't have a kitten. It was kind of hard to concentrate at work, and things were getting back to the brain fog, but it was different. I wasn't like super tired this time. It was just like actual brain fog, not brought on about fatigue.
He had a breakdown in front of our boss in a meeting about something like it was like
oh, that guy called me back like 4 times in a row, and I just kept putting him on ignore because I wanted him to leave a voicemail message.
He had a breakdown, and then our boss told him in a comment and said, hey, the way you conducted yourself there was completely inappropriate, but he was obviously not acting like himself because of his hormones.
Yeah, it was hard to keep myself together there. Yeah. Like I was, really, always conducting myself like, gotta focus, gotta be correct. Yeah. Can't tell people I feel terrible and want to cry and all this shit. So I go do my blood work about a month and a half into this 2-month cycle, and typically my doctor would give me a call at the 2-month mark. But my doctor gave me a call the day he got my test results back. And he goes, hey, how are you feeling? I was like, oh, man, I just, I'm having a hard time keeping it together at work, and I just got a lot of anxiety, and I'm kind of depressed all the time. He goes, okay, all right, well, I can probably explain that. I was like, oh, you can? And he said, yeah, you're definitely responding to the hormone therapy. Because your body makes up for extra testosterone by producing extra estrogen. And that wasn't happening before because my body wasn't responding to the previous dosage schedule. But now it finally was. Plane to go over. The soundscape here is interesting. Okay, so I get a call from my doctor. Ask me how I'm feeling. Tell him I'm not doing so good. He says, I can explain that because your estrogen levels are 8,000 times higher than they need to be. Why don't you come into the office and we'll give you some anti-estrogen medication, and then we'll ship it to you, here on out. So yeah, I drove there same day, got my medication, took it, started feeling better instantly. So, I feel more in touch with my feminine side. I do. Like wild, crazy emotions and all this kind of stuff, and just not being able to control my behavior. I get it. I think I do. Probably more so than other people who haven't had that experience. I'll say that. Anyway, but I would highly recommend, testosterone replacement therapy to anybody who's even if you're, because it didn't happen overnight. Okay, the symptoms happened over the course of years, and things just got worse and worse and worse. And I remember thinking to myself, this must be what it is to get older. But no, no, it doesn't have to be like that. So I guess, so now, you know, and that was another thing too. I want to explain to the audience here is that, you know, my professional job has been going so good because I have been hyper focused on that. I've been dealing with all this other stuff and dealing with maintaining and succeeding at that job because it's a really great resume builder. I'm learning so many skills, even ones that will apply to video production because project management and being a film director is basically the same damn thing. Like I'll make a video on it one of these days. And you know, I know some folk. I know some folk that you know. I just want to do a disclaimer. I'm not knocking SSRIs because I know a couple people who take them and it works wonders for them, and they're able to have like a great quality of life. So I'm not saying stay away from it now. I'm just saying be aware of my misdiagnosis because if I'd have gotten a sleep study done, you know, anytime from fucking 2015 to, you know, when did I get my final 2020? I could have done with you know, I could have done without all of that heartache and stress. I really could have.
We both lived in the Seattle area for a long time, and in the Seattle area, a lot of people are diagnosed with depression and all sorts of mental health conditions, and are prescribed SSRIs, higher than almost anywhere in the country, and that's because maybe 7 to 8 months out of the year, it's gray and overcast, and you're not getting enough vitamin D, and you don't want to go outside, and that has an effect on your body. Certain disorders like skin cancer are a lot lower there because of that, but at the same time, you know, you need sun exposure, and then, you know, the current system, they want to prescribe you something to address a symptom, and the first thing they want to prescribe you is that. And I've known many people who live in Seattle who take SSRIs and they believe they're depressed, but have moved out of Seattle and then live somewhere where where there's more sun, and then their depression has been cured, and it's just something to be aware of. You know, like doctors are.
Is that why you moved to Puerto Rico?
That's part of the reason why.
Part of the reason why, yeah.
But doctors aren't always the ultimate authority to decisions you can make. You can always get a second opinion, which you always should, and you know, they exist within a system to diagnose a symptom, and if that symptom is that your body isn't getting what it needs from your environment, then they're not going to be able to diagnose that for you because that's not a pill. That's a lifestyle change.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well said. I've got to go. I'm going up to Florida to get some health, just some routine maintenance done on myself. So I'm just going to go see my doctor, get my blood work done, talk to my endocrinologist. I got to go see the dentist. So I'm going to go up to Florida for that because it's easier. It's easier to fly to Florida and do all that at the places I'm used to doing it instead of learning Spanish and getting all my records transferred down here. Plus, I don't know what my insurance company would do if I filed for a claim in Puerto Rico right now. So
It'll be easier. When he comes back, he's going to start counting calories.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to get his macros down, and he's going to understand how many calories he's consuming in a day, and maybe do that for a month, and then you kind of have an intuitive understanding of how much calories you're consuming, and you know, he's wearing that vest. He's wearing that weighted vest for like a full day, every 2 days, taking 2 days off, and then your body consumes more calories. So you got to kind of understand how much energy you're taking in, how much energy you're putting out, in order for your body to have homeostasis and balance. So
yeah,
there's more that he's doing in his health journey, and there's always more that you can learn and do.
Yeah, I mean the the goal is, you know, we're doing this film, right? This live action film. I want to look good on camera for that, you know, and to do that, you know, I'm gonna have to do, you know, a bulking, you know, session and lifting the weights and do kind of like the bodybuilding thing.
You might get fat.
Yeah, I might get a little fat, but then there's the cutting phase too, which is where you shred all that, you shred all the fat off, and then that way, you know, you look really good on camera. So what I'm there, so bodybuilders go through that kind of thing for a competition, right? So what I'm thinking is, instead of doing it for I mean, I should compete, you know, I should challenge myself and compete, but I'm thinking I should do this, use the same techniques, but line it up with a production shoot, right? It's like, you know, here's the scene where, like, you know, your shirt, you know, the main character's shirt gets ripped off while they're, you know, doing hand-to-hand combat with the alien or whatever, right? So plan the day of that shoot and that production to coincide with the bulking, you know, cutting, stage, you know, performance cycle. And not I'm sure there's a specific term for it, but
So one of the things about bulking is the first place you kind of show where you're putting on weight is in your face. So it's a good idea, if you want to bulk, to grow a beard, because you cover that up a little bit to some degree. So yeah, if you're really clean shaven, then people like see, like, wow, you put on a lot of weight. But if you have a big old beard, you can cover it up. You can bulk without any shame, and then you could take the weight off and shave your face clean.
yeah,
And look like your action superhero. So that's one tip.
yeah, I'll try. Yeah, we already talked about your channel. There's going to be links in the description below, because you got another video uploaded since the last time. You got a couple more.
I have a couple more coming up. So
yeah, and the idea there is just to have something on in the background so people could study or whatnot.
Yeah.
Kind of big on the white noise, with either the you know, car cam or the rain or waterfall or whatnot. So
I might just have some audio-oriented videos coming up here too. So it's just going to be a picture, and then it plays some noise, and you can listen to the noise and relax and create an atmosphere where you're working. So yeah.
That's interesting. That's like type of content that I just wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting to, like, you know, put that together and throw, you know, my video production skill set at it, because I'm interested to see how good it can turn out.
Yeah.
And I've seen similar things be wildly successful if you measure success by millions of views.
Yeah. You know, we live in the modern world, and there's we live so removed from nature that there is a strong desire within a lot of people who live in urban environments and otherwise to have an experience that brings them back to nature. So listening to nature and hearing it can bring you back, and it can bring a sense of peace and relaxation. And that's one of my goals, is to make some more audio, is to make audio videos and then have some visual videos where you can just, it can feel like you're just sitting there and looking at the waterfall yourself.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I like
And you
that.
recreate that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. I see. You've said exactly what it seems like you've been trying to do with the content that you're making.
And I want to do more. I want to have edited videos. But that's a skill set, and that has a learning curve. But just capturing nature how it is and displaying it, there's less of a learning curve, and I can put that content out right away as a beginner. So I'm excited for it.
So I'm thinking, in my mind, like, we've gone through, like, you and I are talking. I've got the footage of us talking, and then the hike and everything. Now we're at the part where we actually get to that waterfall, and I'm going to show that clip where I filmed you going all the way out there and
Yep.
stuff. You want to say anything to the audience about that? Because they're going to be watching that while you're talking right now. So,
Well, you have to take each step very carefully. You have to, because if you put your foot out too far ahead of your body, you're going to slip and fall. Because there's a ton of algae.
right.
There is a ton of stuff growing there. But that's like everything in life. You know, sometimes you have to tread lightly, sometimes you have to be less measured and you have to go boldly forward. But it's all about being aware of your environment. And that's the thing, like, when you're in a natural environment, especially here in Puerto Rico, where nature is so abundant, then it challenges you in that way to evaluate your setting and make your moves forward. So, it's fun to live here.
Yeah, you do. I agree with that. Kind of while we're out there and doing all that filming and stuff, it does give you some time to think and to put things in perspective. Yeah.
It's like that. The environment here is very extreme. Like, there's hot temperatures. It's very extreme but very stable. Like, there's thunder and lightning everywhere. The sun is beating down you every day, but sometimes it's completely overcast and raining like crazy. But there's so much heat, there's so much sun, and then there's so much rain, and there's so much overcast that, you know, the environment provides a ton of contrast and a ton of challenge. But
Well, it worked really good because there's that waterfall. Did you upload that waterfall
Not
one
yet,
where
but I'm going
the
to.
rain comes in? Okay, upload that
I
one.
did that
so
one.
we
I
can,
did that one
you did
first.
that one? Okay, good. Okay, yeah, because that made the footage turn. I was really impressed with the way that footage came out because you got out there, and because it was already raining after the hike and stuff, and you got out there and set the camera up, and then the footage looks really good, guys. Check it out because you got the waterfall, and then you literally see like a storm front come in over the top. And it rains and pours, and you get water on the lens and everything. It looks great, and then it passes, and then another one comes, and it's really good. It's really good.
And the crazy thing about filming here is that you need like a hood over your lens because the light can be so bright that it just blows out your shot. And I have that for my GoPro, and I have that for my Canon camera, and yeah, sometimes you also need, like, you know how you wear sunglasses? You need like a shade for your lens, and I have those for my GoPro, but I need a case for it to put those shades into it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're slowly getting all the big kind of production equipment.
We're learning.
We're learning.
We're learning, and this is the best environment to learn because this is kind of an extreme environment because there's just so much variation in the environment, and the kind of shots we're getting with the car, and then capturing the audio, and then maybe changing the audio, and just the challenges with the camera equipment overheating. Like,
Yeah.
we're trying to make a simple camera. We're trying to do a simple travel vlog or a very simple concept in a very extreme environment, and that knowledge will advance into a lot more interesting things at some point.
Right. We're learning to walk before we're going to run.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're going to get to the point where, when I get to the point where we're actually filming the production that I've been talking about for a while, like, we got to have all these skills down. We got to have all this proceduralized out and know what we're doing, because the moment we start putting that together, the moment we start getting everybody together, that's when you're spending most of your funds, and nobody, not everybody can take off for a couple of weeks of work and things like that. So you got to be able to get it done in an extremely short amount of time, and that's one of the things that I've always found impressive about movies, is that there's so much more that goes on. I've been more interested by the things that happen behind the scenes to actually get all of those visuals together to make the movie than I have in most of the movies. That's how I can tell it's a really good movie, is that I'm not thinking about how it's produced or how they made this shot or how they, like, I'm in with the characters and I'm following the story and everything. Most of the time I'm not, and I'm picking it apart and thinking about, well, how did they do this and how did they make that? So I hope to be able to, apply all of those thoughts and all of these skill sets that we're acquiring to be able to make something that's going to entertain and amaze you. So, and now with my health back, the sky's the limit. So I hope to create a bunch more content, stuff talking about health, nutrition, and all of these things just kind of add up to all of the different stuff that needs to be done to make the film that I want to make. And I'm happy to have you folks along for that journey.
One baby step at a time.
You got it. I retrieved the intel.
Okay, it's right here. That's good.